My husband just suggested trying out a poly relationship with me, but he already has a girlfriend.
Hey, you did that in the wrong order.
You skipped a couple steps, my man. Okay, so my husband, 43 male, and I, 43 female, have been married for 23 years. We have never dated or even kissed anyone else. Our story is long with ups and downs. I will try and make this short, but feel free to ask any cues as there's a lot of backstory. By the way, this comes from Puzzleheaded Can 9332, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, as we have gotten older, we have become more open-minded. For me in particular, just learning and breaking free of what society and religion have boxed as acceptable relationships. Pushing back against those statistics that say people get more conservative as they age. Look at you go. My husband has always felt like something was missing in his heart and mind our whole marriage. There have been about 5 times in our relationship where he has met someone that helps a little bit of this hole. But as we were both clearly monogamous, I was very upset to the point of not being able to function, and we would take a break. Yeah, that's fair. So wait, he's just like falling in love with other people 5 times?
Yeah, that's...
He's like, no, there's a hole in the marriage. I gotta emotionally cheat. And she's like, yeah, I got so upset about it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's not rational. We've already talked about it, and we've realized I'm in the wrong.
I'm the problem, of course.
That he's falling in love. He's just a lover.
He's just a lover boy.
Sounds like rocket science.
And in the end, we would always come back together. Nothing physical was ever done, but the emotional cheating was heartbreaking for me. I now have more of an open mind, however.
Good for you. Way to be open-minded.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. She's actually saying what we're saying. She's like, no. Like, I was so closed off before. I am now open-minded. I can see that he was right.
I can now see the proper way to love.
Caitlin Von Compen says what I was thinking. He was definitely filling holes. He said after doing some research and soul searching that he feels like he needs more than one woman to be in a relationship with.
Yeah, I was doing some research. I was really hitting the books.
But not in general. Specifically, a woman from 5 years ago who he had one of the connections with. She had cut it off because she wanted a physical relationship with him, but he couldn't cross that line. He crossed every other line. And because she was so upset, her husband found out and they cut ties.
Yeah, why did it not work? Well, she wanted to be more physical and he didn't. And also her husband found out.
This is crazy. But now he wants to date her and stay married to me. He said eventually he wants us both to be in equal types of relationships with him. And okay, I can think about this and see if it's something I would be comfortable with. The problem is things started back up with them seriously about 4 months ago. About a month ago, they started making out and kissing, and he just told me about this today. Girly, he's cheated on you.
That's so funny that he's like, maybe if I just disclose that I was cheating.
Yeah, then it's totally fine.
I could pull a Jedi mind trick here.
Yeah. OP is renaming cheating. She's like, no, it's just like a really strong bond.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes past our marriage vows.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand it, but that's not for me. My small, feeble mind to understand.
I guarantee you he was like, no, babe, that's what's supposed to be like. That's how you greet each other right off the bat.
You don't understand. Marriage exists in stages. For the first 5 years, we're loyal to each other. And then after that, you have to let more love into your heart.
Exactly. Babe, we've talked about this. I'm a lover.
I'm a lover, okay? He wasn't even going to mention the kissing. I had to ask him specifically. He said that he plans on having a full relationship with her, spicy sleep and all.
Right? Didn't he just disclose that when he's like, I would like this woman and you to have equal partnership in my marriage?
He's like, all right, I plan to take over the entire tri-state area. Are you okay with that?
And that's when you say, no, I'm not okay with that. I'm leaving you, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. I'm not cool with this.
Yeah, and that's why Dr. Doofenshmirtz is divorced. His want is to be with me like we have been and have her as a girlfriend too. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yes, you are. Yes, you know how you feel about that. Polly is already something I had been pondering for myself, so I'm wondering if maybe I had someone else as well. We could keep what we have and both be happier for it. So I am thinking on it, but it's really hard for me not to feel hurt over him already dating someone and then making out, cuddling, and kissing. All doing that without talking to me first. I'm so furious and also sad.
She's like saying everything except
Cheating.
I'm upset I got cheated on.
Like, she's not labeling it. You got cheated on. You're allowed to be upset about that. To make matters worse, a year ago, I felt really ill and have been on disability ever since. So I am having a really hard time trying to figure out what I want while trying to disregard if we aren't together anymore. How would I live and survive? He told me that he 100% will not stop seeing her and moving forward, but that he does want things to stay the same with us. And I can decide if that's what I want and to let him know. Wild. Am I putting too much importance on the kiss and overreacting on what he's done already? I also asked him, would this be where we are all together, like knowing each other and around each other? But he said he doesn't see that working, that he wants his relationship with her totally separate and us not having anything to do with each other. Knowing each of us, he doesn't think it would work well. I need advice, please. He's like, I think you'd just be so jealous with, my other girlfriend that I cheated on you with being around.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work out.
Yeah, I think I would keep my other girlfriend completely quarantined from you.
Yeah.
Wife.
I think, what I was kind of thinking is we would move her into the house and you would kind of move out.
Just purely for vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nothing personal.
Nope.
All right.
No.
It's all just based on vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're not okay with that, I think you should still move out.
Babe, you're sounding like a bit of a hater right now. Okay. I'm a lover.
I'm a lover.
All right, let's spread some love.
I don't really have anyone to talk to, and I know Polly needs a lot of honesty and openness, but I can't help but feel like he's already broken that. I don't know. I don't know. Any advice or thoughts are greatly appreciated. Thanks.
Please tell me we have comments.
Oh, so many.
I don't think Polly works.
If
like
I were to
this.
hazard a guess, I don't think Polly works like this.
Yeah. Usually you have to go like, hey, maybe we should do or try this thing.
Hey, maybe.
And then you do that thing that you talked about, not the other way around.
Not the other way around. Not the other way around, because if you do it the other way around, that's just cheating.
Yeah. Let's take it out of the context of relationships. Let's say you go buy a new car.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go talk to your wife. You go, I think we should buy a new car. Your wife's like, yeah, sure. I've been thinking the same thing. We should get this one. He goes, great. I already got another one. It's out in the driveway.
Yeah, it is not the one that you wanted.
That's just not how that works.
It's actually it's a Hummer. I know you wanted a Prius, but it's a Hummer.
I also love how chat's like, this is an open relationship.
Yeah, you're already in an open relationship. I don't know what the discussion, it
was open for them.
Yeah.
I guess you just didn't get the memo.
Yeah, like the door was open.
Did you not get the email?
Cat left.
Wrong email? Sorry.
You got broken into. You got to lock that door. But there are some relevant comments. Minnie Sparrow, I'm so sorry. This is heartbreaking, and as others have mentioned, it's cheating. It is painful, it is scary, it is infuriating. All your feelings, they are completely valid. It might be additionally disorienting because you haven't been with anyone else, I imagine, plus the disability. What does this whole thing also say about the woman who was with him? She either doesn't know the full context of your story with your husband, or she doesn't care. I mean, given the fact that she also cheated on her husband, I imagine that she does not care. Either way, staying with him would keep you in a vulnerable and unfair position, and the lying would not stop there. You don't need to face this alone. Please reach for additional support and do not for a moment feel that you are the bad guy here. Your husband messed up big time. And OP responded, yeah, I've never been with another person, haven't even kissed or held hands with anyone else. I do feel alone. This last year with my health and losing all the plans I've had for my life, I've been dealing with depression on and off, and when I'm depressed, I curl up inside myself and draw away from my loved ones. So I'm feeling like I have no one to turn to for support, hence coming to the internet. LOL, I'm hopeful I can be brave enough to reach out to a loved one soon. Catmouse3 says, unfortunately, Polly is based on communication and being on the same page. And him doing all that behind your back and only telling you because you said something first shows he would have went further and not told you. He cheated on you, honey. I'm sorry, but it's only Polly if you know about it. OP said, I told him this, that it's based on trust and communication, and he broke my trust, and I don't know if I can get over it or not, because I am curious if Polly is something that I would like or not. I'm trying to be understanding of his needs and what would make him happy. happy. He said he was for sure gonna tell me in a few months.
Yeah, no.
He's just waiting for the right time.
I had it marked on my calendar, babe. I swear. Come look.
It was gonna do it on our anniversary.
Yeah, on the 32nd of March.
Or maybe April Fool's. I thought you would like it. It would be kind of a fun joke, but not a joke.
Thematically appropriate day.
Yeah. But he came home wearing a bracelet that our son saw and asked him where it was from. Oh, y'all have a son. And my spouse wouldn't answer, so I got suspicious. And the fact that he has still been with me in every way and was going to not say anything to me for so long is very hurtful. He was going to keep seeing her and making out with her without telling me. He only told me now because of the bracelet thing. And there is an update, but girl, you can get money out of this. You can get child support, you know? You've got options. Get a lawyer. I'm sure you can also possibly get, I'm not quite sure what the process would be here, but you might be able to get some sort of disability pay. But look into your options, talk to a lawyer, because staying in this situation is not good for you.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm sure you're probably just actively processing what is essentially the end of this relationship, and you've probably got a little denial.
Absolutely.
Clearly, but yeah, you gotta get out. This guy's not a lover. He's a liar.
He's a liar. But there is an update, and that's not a lie. So I have learned a lot about how he feels about and with this other woman, and I have done some soul searching. This is what I ended up doing. He claimed he wanted us both, separate but equal partners. Not the separate but equal! No!
A classic.
No! I'm sorry, are you the freaking U.S. government?
Yeah, and as we all know, that worked really well.
Yeah, it worked great.
As we all know, that was a phenomenal...
Separate but equal was a phenomenal...
Yes,
oh my goodness.
That didn't have any problems. No, you can't do that.
And I sat with that for a bit. Then after some talks, I realized I only had one important question. If you had to choose now, who would it be? Girl, he already said if you didn't want to do this, he was still going to stay with her. He already told you. He was like, yeah, if you're not okay, leave.
He's just a lover, babe. I don't know.
I gave him an example. If she came to him and said it was too hard on her to continue the open relationship and that she couldn't do it anymore, what would you do? Who would you stay with? And he wouldn't say the words, but he had the look on his face that said he would pick her. He's already said the words. You already typed them out to us. I told him that isn't a balanced relationship. That isn't poly. That she holds all the power. That he will do whatever it is she wants because he has to be with her, so he will do anything she wants, including leaving me. So then I told him it wasn't fair to me, that his proposal would put me at the very bottom of importance below both of them. I told him that's not fair to me, that I don't deserve to be someone's second, someone's back burner. And so I told him I couldn't stay with him. I packed a suitcase and stayed the night with my sister down the road.
This is written like it's like, well, this is my boyfriend that I met 6 months ago. And it's like, no, this is your husband you have a child with. This is a huge deal.
It absolutely is written so, not casually per se, but not like, oh my God, he cheated on me and broke my heart.
Yeah, it's more just like we just want different things right now. And it's just not going to work. I don't know if it's what I want.
He's being incredibly forgiving. And you don't have to be. We met a couple times after that to go over logistics. I set a reasonable timeline for him to get stuff out of the house. At least you're kicking him out of your house. That's something.
Thank God.
I set the boundaries that I didn't want to see him and I didn't want any communication unless it was logistics like bills or rides for the kids. I haven't seen him since. It's been a roller coaster time for me. We were together for 25 years. I found one person that he actually told the woman's name to. My ex never told me or anyone he thought might tell me. So his brother told me. I found her on Instagram and Facebook 2 days ago. Man, that was really hard to see who my spouse was dating. Seeing her adult daughter do a post that talks about how good of a person she is. And I wanted so badly to say that her mom is the type of person who dates married men. I'm not going to, but I really, really want to message the girlfriend, thinking I might spend some time crafting over the next week and send it.
No.
Honestly, don't do that.
No.
She knows.
No.
She's already aware that she's ruined your marriage. She already is aware that you guys were together for 25 years. She knows all of that. She knows you had a kid. She doesn't care.
Move on. Move along.
Yeah. It is, unfortunately, it shouldn't be, but for you to do that, it would be embarrassing.
It's just beneath you.
Yeah.
And your husband already threw away 25 years of marriage.
Your husband is already the one in the complete wrong and just a complete embarrassment. So try and rise above that. I have quite the journey ahead of me. To all those who saw through his BS and called it what it was, cheating, and who encouraged me to leave him and who were upset on my behalf, thank you. It was really eye-opening to have such a unanimous response to my post and helped me give the courage I needed. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. I just hope someday I can find someone who treats me as an equal, a partner who would choose me over others. And there are some relevant comments. Zeba says, that is such heartbreak. He sounds selfish, immature, and selfish. Did I already say that? I am sorry. He gave no thought to you at all. Should be a huge red flag for her, but Godspeed, lady. I mean, again, it's not a red flag for her because she did the same thing.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
She doesn't care. She cheated on her husband to get into this relationship. She absolutely doesn't care. And also, I mean, we don't even know because the first time it was unclear of whether she divorced, if anything actually happened with her and her husband. It just seemed like he was upset.
Oh, husband didn't like that.
Yeah, husband didn't like, but it wasn't like, oh, their marriage ended over this. So she probably either is continuing to cheat on her husband or divorced him, left him for this affair. Yeah. You take care of you now, and when he comes crawling back to you in 6 months to a year, and he absolutely will. Remember, he showed you who he is. OP says, oh, I'll remember, LOL. His brother actually told me if I ever consider getting back with his own brother, he would kidnap me and lock me up until I remember all the crap my ex put me through and tell him I won't do it. LOL, also you mentioned he gave no thought to me at all. The heartbreaking thing is my ex has been very clear he did think about me. He said he felt like he was between a rock and a hard place, that his girlfriend kept wanting more and more, and if he didn't give it to her, she would leave. So he weighed what it would do to me. He weighed that he would be breaking his strict moral code and weighed how he would feel if she left and he chose her. His strict moral code?
Strict moral code.
What is his strict moral code?
To be a bad guy.
It certainly is the strict moral code that most people who have strict moral codes follow.
Okay, look, babe, this is my strict moral code, all right? When I'm in love, all right, love conquers all.
He's like...
including our own marriage, okay? My love for her, sorry, you're going to have to battle it out now. It's battle bots for love.
He's like, I just follow my own 10 commandments. First one, golden rule, covet my neighbor's wife.
Yeah, it's like my 10 commandments. Marissa, Clara, Sarah.
It's the surf's up. These are my ladies. That is OP's ex-husband. Josephine says, strict immoral code, indeed. Yes. And he chose her, which to me is a heck of a lot worse than not thinking of me at all. Mentally ill millennial. So he cheated, then he tried to have his cake and eat it too, is what I'm understanding. OP says, yup, he wanted to keep us both. He said he wanted everything to stay the same with him and I, and then bring her up to be an equal with me. But he is so desperate to keep her, he will do anything she wants. And I told him that since that's the case, there is no equality. She holds all the power, and that's not fair to me. Man tried to Henry VIII his wives. He was like, well, I can just have my new wife be equal with my old wife, and then if she's unhappy, I'll just execute her.
And then get a new wife.
Yes. OP, when told when she is ready to get back out there and date, she says, it's going to be really weird doing anything with anyone new. I've never done anything romantic with anyone but my husband, not even hand-holding, cuddling, or a kiss with anyone else. I'll be honest, it makes me nervous to get out there again. How can I get over feeling like a kiss with someone else is a bad thing? I mean, it's going to take you time. It's a 25 marriage. You don't have to rush into it, but the people will be there when you're ready. But that is the end of that story. And it seems like OP is on some sort of path.
Yeah.
Hopefully the right one.
The path away from that guy.
Yes. And that is a good path to be on.
It's a good path to be on. And there's also a path that you can be on.
It wasn't even in
this.
Which
is a path that allows you to listen to full episodes with stories, just like the one we just read. Just go to Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime, and there you will find us.
It's true.
Simple as that.
But we're going to jump into the next story.
My stepmother betrayed my father while he was terminally ill.
And you know what we do with traitors?
We throw him in the traitor hole. So, my 27 male, stepmom, 70 female, Cindy, has been with my father since I was 5. So, for over 20 years. I've never particularly been close with her family. I was a little bit of a problem child with ADHD off the charts and would always get in trouble, so I was never really included by her family. Plus, she's always just been pretty overtly rude with no self-awareness, and I wouldn't put up with it and would talk back, which is also probably a reason. By the way, this comes from user That's Rare. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. They would be cordial with me, but after 20 years, we still never were family. However, Cindy to me was, and I loved her as if she was a second mother to me because she was. My dad got diagnosed with Parkinson's dementia with Lewy body features over a year ago, which sounds horrendous. He required full-time care over time and progressively forgot how to do basic tasks to the point where he lost all his dignity. He fell and broke his ribs in the house. Cindy decided it was time to put him in the hospital for full-time care until he passed. This was in August of 2024.
Oh, wow. So this is like recent.
Since then, I was visiting my dad, preparing for my newborn child, who was just born April 2nd, recovering from a major surgery, which is a 6-month recovery process, among other issues. To say this winter has been hard for me is a vast understatement. I had tried to stay in contact with Cindy. I'd send her messages, and when we would meet at the hospital, I'd tell her if she ever needs me, don't hesitate to call me. I would tell her that I always had worried once my dad passed that her side of the family would just completely write me off because I've never really been included. The age gap between me and all of Cindy's children is pretty wide as well. Over time, she became increasingly more distant and cold with me. I would call her and try to converse, and it would go like, hey, I'm out with a friend, call you later, bye. I would drive past the house on the way home from the hospital because it was on my drive home, and periodically notice a vehicle there I was unfamiliar with.
Maybe it's just the tax guy.
Maybe she's just doing her taxes.
Did we think about that? Is it tax season, OP?
Still, I had my hunch, but didn't say anything because to me, the thought of her effing with someone else while my dad is passing away in the hospital just made no sense to me. It couldn't possibly be true. My father did pass on January 23rd, and I got to sit at the hospital with his body and cried for hours.
Oh, and to think like your stepmother during that time is potentially cheating is horrendous.
Pretty gross of her. A few weeks later, we had our baby shower, and I had invited Cindy weeks in advance. It was hosted by my sister, and she was more than welcome to come. The day of the shower, she texts me and says, I won't make it. I had plans with Billy, her son. Bye. And I said, okay, well, if you change your mind, let me know. Love you.
But OP invited her weeks in advance, and she just made these plans?
I got Billy plans.
You know Billy, he comes into town.
When Billy rolls into town,
you gotta clear your schedule.
My schedule's cleared.
Yeah.
When Billy walks in.
He's like Santa.
Still, to me, that was pretty sus. Fast forward a few weeks, and I go over there to collect my father's ashes, and she texts me on the way and goes, don't go into the garage. I'll tell you later. Weird, but okay.
I go into the garage.
Yeah, I'm going in the garage.
I'm going right into the garage.
So I get there. We talk. I get a small necklace from my father, and I eventually ask how the door got broken. She was reluctant to tell me at first, saying it was broken, but wouldn't tell me who broke it. So I pretty much confirmed my hunch at that point. After 20 years of being in my life, there's not many people I don't know, so for her to hide a name is really weird. I tell her she can just come clean because I know already, and she tells me she didn't want me to hate her. So, she tells me how since August, which is when my dad got put in the hospital, she's been effing around with a guy named Jerry, 80 male.
How old is she?
70.
Okay.
Now, Jerry, she informs me, isn't a new acquisition. Prior to my father, she had another husband named Ralph, and he was around for about 20 years. This guy has existed in her life since before Ralph.
That's crazy. Why didn't you just marry him?
Yeah, since your 20s, you're 70 now. This guy's been you've been messing with this guy since you were in your 20s?
No, I think 20 years ago.
20 years and then another 20 years. Ralph for 20 years. Prior to my father, she had a husband named Ralph. He was around for about 20 years. So that's 20 years with Ralph, God. 20 years with OP's dad.
Yeah, why?
And
why even get with OP's dad?
And this guy's just there the whole time. Wow.
Guarantee you, it's money.
Oh, does he have the cha-ching? Or no, the dad had the cha-ching. And this guy's got the shishwing. Gotcha. Okay. So she was effing this guy before Ralph just as a fling, she informs me, and then she booted him to the curb for Ralph. Ralph passes away. She gets with Jerry again for a few months, meets my dad, and then boots Jerry to the curb again. My dad starts passing away picks Jerry back up. She also told me that before Dad went to the hospital, Jerry showed up there one day talking about, I've driven past this house for years, working up the courage to come down there. She allegedly shooed him off. Jerry is also the reason the door is broken on the garage. Apparently, she told him that she doesn't want to have a relationship, and he got mad, came over while she was gone, and busted the garage door that my dad had built himself.
Man's in good shape for an 80-year-old.
Well, I imagine he just drove the car into it.
That also works. That could do it. This is kind of the plot of The Notebook, but if it were like over the course of 80 years.
And just really toxic.
Yeah. I mean, The Notebook is quite
No,
toxic.
The Notebook is a perfect love story with no problems, as we've already determined on this show. Just don't look into it.
Don't look any
analyze
further
it.
than the first scene.
Just look at the surface level and think about, ooh, how they kiss in the rain. Ooh, how they kiss in the rain.
Or they lie on the sidewalk or the street and almost get run over.
To have a multi-generational F-boy.
That's crazy. Like, he's obsessed with you, man.
And
I
she
guess.
knows it. And she likes it.
Yeah, and she's like, no.
No,
Get
no,
outta here.
later.
No, I'm
He's
done
like,
with you.
I've
And
been
he's like,
working up the courage
I'll
to...
stay around.
Yeah.
However long you'll keep me, I'll come back.
I just drive by your house, and I hope one day I have the courage to say something. She's like, ew, gross, shut up, get out of here.
Yeah, no, it probably is. He probably has some version of like Ryan Gosling's, like that woman that Ryan Gosling is saying. And then the second that, is it Rachel McAdams? Yeah, comes back. He's like, okay, bye.
Yeah,
Like,
okay, bye.
OP's stepmother is Rachel McAdams.
But
and
even the
Jerry's like,
even
okay,
like-
get out of here.
She knew, though. She's like, yeah, you don't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta know if this man is willing to come back over the course of 80 years after being like kicked out of her life 3 times, he has very little self-respect.
Yeah, well, hey. You know what? He might have a lot of self-respect, but I got to respect Jerry's hustle at 80.
Yeah, man.
I got to respect Jerry's hustle at 80.
Can't stop, won't stop.
At 80, that's a man. That's a man in love. We talked about a lover in our last story.
Yeah, this is a lover boy.
That guy is a lover.
Yeah, he has a strict moral code, and it's just OP's stepmother.
Okay, so he busts the garage door. He busts the garage door. She had also been letting him keep his things in the garage, frequently going on dates with him, buying him a $300 stereo set. So I can understand his confusion. But still, mind you, this is the day I go over to get my ashes of my 1 month passed away father. She drops the I've been effing someone else while he's in the hospital on me. While I'd be visiting him, he'd be calling her name out while she's probably at home getting wienered down by Jerry in my father and her's bed. It is a disgusting thought for me. Well, yeah, because it's disgusting.
I mean, just in general, disgusting thought.
Just a horrifically disgusting thing
Just
to do.
awful thing. Yeah.
I keep it cordial, but I am fuming at this point and try to divert the conversation. She mentions going to this bar, and I offer to go with her so we can get some time together. And she goes, why would I bring you to the bar when I'm trying to pick up guys? Like, how sick in the head do you have to be? At this point, I excuse myself to go outside and fix her headlight on her car for her, but also to get some air. You gotta hit her with the, I gotta go to the store and get some headlight fluid.
Yeah.
Your headlight fluid is low, and and then you drive around for 45 minutes and rethink your life.
Yeah.
I go outside to the garage and notice all my dad's stuff moved around and taken out, my stuff rifled through. Cindy wouldn't have done this, and she also mentioned Jerry rearranged the garage to make it cozier for them.
She's incredibly too comfortable talking about the man that she cheated on OP's father for.
Yes.
Probably doesn't even care.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she's 70.
Well, yeah,
Usually-
this is
usually-
her.
Yeah, usually older people just don't have any filter.
This is her.
I mean, like 70's not even that, like, I don't know. It's not like crazy old.
Listen, my dad's at that age where he just does not care. He'll just say whatever. I'm like,
I don't know. My aunts, like, I have an aunt and an uncle at that age, and like they're still.
they're still. I'm
You
saying
know?
every older person's
Yeah.
like that, but
This is just
sometimes
kinda-
older people just don't. They're at that point where like I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't think Cindy's picking up anybody. I think if Cindy tries to pick somebody up, she breaks in half. She's 70. Anyway. And I also notice his address written on a notepad on the lawn chair in the garage, so I know it was this effer. Why is his address written on a notepad on a lawn chair in the garage?
It's
All
like,
people just know,
come
man.
find
They-
me.
Yeah, they have a way with.
We shall fight at dawn at this
Yeah.
address.
Is that him? Like, is he starting a duel?
Yeah.
That's him going through the DMs, right?
Throw down your gauntlet.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of a DM.
That's
Yeah.
an old
For an
age
80-year-old man.
He left a note with his address that just says, "You up?"
Yeah.
on like a
And she's
stool.
like, "When was this? Was this for tonight?"
He just wrote down his name and address and the time at the moment.
Yeah, he's like, "Here,
And I just wrote
It's
a
like-
text message.
if you're up at 10 p.m., maybe 9, I go to sleep early."
I just gotta figure out how to get this piece of paper into my phone. Anyway, at this point, I lose it. I start crying hysterically. I broke a thing or two of mine. Then I go into the house and tell my girlfriend and 2 daughters to go outside. And I'm still crying, but completely cordial and non-violent. And I ask Cindy why the F she would do this and if he's the reason she skipped my baby shower. And surely enough, he was. She did indeed go over to Billy's house, her son, but also brought Jerry along to introduce him to her family, her sons and grandkids. That's why she skips my baby shower. I didn't even want gifts from her. I just wanted her there and to keep our relationship alive for my dad's sake. My dad didn't get to pass away with dignity. He lost himself to Parkinson's, and the last bit he had was his relationship, and he couldn't even get that. She, at the flip of a coin, and I'm assuming because she had been drinking, starts berating me. Get out of the house now. You're never welcome back here again. You have 30 days to get your things and never come back. Which, hold up, wait a minute. What is this? Are you even able to do that?
Yeah,
Whose house
like
is
whose
this?
house does this belong to? Because it might be,
I really want the Uno reverse card to hit her with that.
Yeah, it's like,
Be
well,
like, you have 30 days.
Actually, you have 30 days.
And then he comes back and he's like, actually, you have 2 weeks.
Yeah. Bye. Hopefully Jerry's got a house
Yeah.
for you.
I hope Jerry uses that big, strong arms he used to dent our garage door to help you move all your crap out of the house. She was saying things like, if I had more of a say in your life, maybe you'd be more of a man, because I was crying. And she also dropped, he forgot how to F me a year ago.
Oh.
Well, yeah, you monster, because he's got a
had
neurodegenerative
Parkinson's.
disease. You were with him for 20 plus years.
Oh my God.
You're a
To think like also just
scoundrel.
like the kind of audacity to be like, well, I'm not even gonna wait. It sounds even cruel to say this, but like to not even wait a year to see someone like rapidly decline and be like, well, I can't even wait like a couple months. I'm just gonna do it while they're like actively passing.
Yeah, while they're languishing.
Yeah. Like, how do you even have time for
What
that?
a great lady.
You're not even there for your partner?
What a just shining example of, a great senior citizen here. So he's been around for 20 years and you couldn't wait until he at least passed. She even had the nerve to tell me I couldn't get the rest of my father's ashes. She had the main urn, but I was going to bring a smaller one later on to be filled alongside my necklace. She effing has the nerve to tell me I can't get my dad's ashes. At this point, I just leave. I assume her responses were that way because she knows she's wrong, but she's always been too dang prideful to admit it. And by the way, I am not too prideful to admit you can listen to full episodes with stories just like these on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and there you have it. It's as easy as that. You can listen all the live long day.
So true.
We have a little bit more story left. I think we're all on the same page here.
I would say so.
Let's go.
Yeah.
A month has passed at this point, and I text her to discuss the day I'm picking my things up. I'll just attach those text messages in a link because I don't want to type it out, but you can see the altercation that we had there. She had the audacity to have Jerry text me off her phone, threatening me in response to my text asking her to leave me alone. No communication has been had since the incident that isn't in the texts provided, so am I the a-hole? Dang. No info on the house. No, you're not the a-hole.
No.
What do you mean, am I the a-hole?
You're not the one who was in a 40-year cheating relationship. That wasn't you.
I get it. I'm sure, OP, you already know that you're not the a-hole, right? You've just put this out on the internet and you're like, that's just a thing that people ask, right? Am I the a-hole here? But for God's sake, if you are thinking you're the a-hole, we got to learn to have faith in ourselves.
Yeah. And go to therapy.
You're in no way the a-hole here. She just got mad because she's getting put on blast.
You called her out for cheating and betraying your dad, and now she's upset with you. And that's not your problem.
Nor is it your fault.
No.
But anyway, yes, that is the end of that. Do we want to pull up that link that had like their text messages or whatever?
Yes, I would love
See if there's
to.
anything worth reading there.
Caitlin Von Compen says, I need the will to be read. Me too. I need to know what's going OP. Also, just like her withholding the ashes is just incredibly cruel.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. Why are you being possessive over my dad's ashes?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Maybear604 says TLDR, please. So super duper TLDR here. OP's father is passing away from Parkinson's and a lot of nasty stuff. And his stepmom, who has been with his dad for 20 years, is out cheating on him with this guy, Jerry, who turns out Jerry has actually been her little F buddy for 40 plus years. On and off whenever she's not in a relationship, or I guess when she is in a relationship. And it ends with OP being told he needs to get all his stuff out of the house. And yeah, honestly, I hope it ends with a lawyer being like, actually, the house doesn't belong to you, Cindy, and you have to
You gotta leave. Let's read these.
Read it? All right. Who wants to be the green?
I can be Cindy.
Okay.
Is that Cindy?
Oh, these are all the text messages.
I won't be able to make it tomorrow. Had plans with Billy. Talk to you later.
Oh, no. That's fine. If you change your mind, let me know.
I will, honey. Love you.
Now we are at March 8th, 6 days later.
Don't try to go in the barn. I will explain when you get here.
Also, just to answer your question from earlier, you told me, how do you think my kids took it when I got with your dad after Ralph? And to answer your question, the day my dad passed, did you not tell me that Ron and my dad got in a fight and you had to kick Ronnie out because he threw a computer at my dad? So obviously he didn't take it very well either. Last thing I want to say, I'll get a hold of you when I'm coming to grab my things and my dad's ashes.
Don't try to go in the barn.
Oh, wait.
No, it's the same thing. Keep going.
That's the same one. Scroll.
March 22nd, I'll be over next week sometime to get my things. I will give Ashley an urn after that to collect my father's ashes.
Name a time and bring a sheriff, so be on time. Name the day, too, along with the time.
Oh, this is definitely right. This is definitely Jerry.
And stick to it, because I ain't gonna waste my time.
Saturday, 2 p.m.
Won't be home. Try Wednesday, 5.
My son is due Wednesday, so probably not.
Then make it Thursday, 5.
Well, may not be Thursday. I'll let you know. Emma has been in the hospital since Friday. We aren't looking to get out of here anytime soon. Okay, these are all, honestly, here, just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, is there anything?
Keep going. Is there anything actually fun
It's
here?
just them. Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. That was really boring.
That
was really that was absurdly boring.
Yeah, that was
I was waiting
But
for
you know-
Jerry to be like, I thought
Yeah.
Jerry was being like, yeah, why don't you come show up and bring the sheriff? I'm not going anywhere.
But funny
The
things.
rest- the last.
Leave Cindy alone. You don't want to meet with me, you sissy.
Leave Cindy alone.
You sissy is crazy.
Oh wait, that is
meet-
Joe.
You don't want to meet with me, you sissy.
Yeah, that's
That
Joe.
was 100% Jerry.
Oh, Jerry, whatever his name is. Fun things in there though, where Cindy going, come on Wednesday. OP saying my child is due, and she goes, well, Thursday then. As if the day after the birth of his child is gonna be a good day.
Yeah, just like still probably going to be dealing with that.
Yeah, still, baby's gonna be here. That and then
Oof, yeah, well, hey, you know what?
also the name, a time, and place. Bring a sheriff.
I
Bring
Bring the sheriff is wild.
Are you gonna burst into the saloon?
Well, I think
Have a
it's
shootout? What's going
probably
on?
Just more for the the logistics of like
I know, but
taking and leaving and owning stuff. That
absolutely, but it does sound with name, a time, and place.
Oh, it does. It definitely does sound like bring the sheriff because one of us is going to jail. The one that survives.
We're
Like,
having a little duel.
it's time
Name,
to
and time, and place.
you want duel.
Negotiate. Okay, but that was the end of that story, and not the end of the episode.
No,
Oh,
there's another
not the
one.
end of the
It's right
episode.
here, and I'm handing it to you right now.
Woo!
There we
Here you
go.
All right, let's do it.
I caught my best friend having an affair. I want to expose her.
I cast spell of exposure.
My best friend Addison, fictitious name, was recently engaged to her partner Shane. Addison met Shane in early 2022 through her older brother, and the two hit it off pretty quickly. Not even 6 months later, Addison was pregnant. They hit it off real quick.
Yeah, they got after it.
By the way, this comes from Artsy Foxy, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, following her pregnancy, Addison moved in with Shane. Shane is a solid guy. He's hardworking, goal-oriented, trustworthy, and faithful. He has always treated my best friend better than any man in her past. I had never witnessed any man other than Shane who made my best friend smile so much. The moment Shane found out Addison was pregnant, he didn't run off like a lot of men do. Instead, he offered her a place in his home and vowed to take care of her and the baby. Fast forward to November 2024, Shane and Addison are now engaged. Their baby is now 1.5 years old. Shane is still working full-time while Addison works part-time. Addison had been working at her same place of employment for a year before she got pregnant. Following her maternity leave, she would ultimately return to the same job. Here is where she met her coworker, Jessie. Jesse's girl.
Jesse's got a girl.
Addison worked with Jessie both before and after her maternity leave, but she had only told me about him recently. Put some ICUs in the chat if you know where this is going. Addison described Jessie as being very egotistical, arrogant, and just downright weird. This is an enemies to lover arc.
Is it, or is this just a lie? Like, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
She told me that Jessie would make advances on her at work, constantly call her, text her, and leave her voicemails. Jessie is fully aware of Addison's engagement to Shane, but doesn't care. I've seen it for myself, as he would often call her and text her while she's around me. But the weird thing is, Addison never blocked him.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
It's almost like she's trying to tell a story of like, oh my God, yeah, that Jesse guy. Oh, he's so annoying and I don't like him and he's like always bothering me and it's like, he won't leave me alone. Please never stop leaving me alone, Jesse.
No, I know people who do this where it's like they'll complain about a person who's texting them a bunch and I'm like, block them. And they're like,
you go,
that's mean.
No.
Can't do it.
No.
Can't do it. But it is different. And this is also, I'm calling myself out. But this is different because she's in a relationship.
Jesse, we have to cook.
And it has a child because there's maternity leave in there.
Yeah.
So
that's different, but there's more. She would often text him back like nothing and even answer his calls. I would hear him make advances toward her, and instead of telling him to stop, she would just laugh and brush it off. You would think that an engaged woman with a baby would completely shut something like that down. Afterward, Addison complained about his behavior towards her. But I confronted her and told her that she is only further encouraging his behavior by answering his calls and texting him back. I asked her why she hadn't blocked him and cut contact like a normal person would. Her excuse was that she needed to stay in contact with him for work. That didn't make any sense, and I called BS. None of the conversations I heard them having were about work in any way whatsoever. I found it odd, but I didn't feel like arguing with her, so I just dropped it. However, what happened a few days later, I could not brush off. I was spending the night at Addison and Shane's place. Shane was working overnight, so Addison and I arranged a girls' night at the house. The night went on normally until Addison left to give her daughter a bath, and I stayed in the living room. I hadn't even noticed Addison's phone was next to me until it rang. Of course, it was Jessie calling. I declined the call and was going to brush it off until I noticed her phone was unlocked, and the text conversation with Jessie was open.
We're snooping, huh? We're getting snoopy.
What? I'm sorry, it was just on with the text open, or was it like on and you were like, well, messages?
I love Snoopy.
I didn't want to. But something in my gut told me to snoop, and so I did. Opie was like,
you wanted to.
Opie's like, I didn't want to, but I did.
Yes, I
did it anyway.
I did want to, and I did it.
And what I saw nearly made me vomit. Dozens of flirty text messages, nude photos, and videos exchanged between Addison and Jessie. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that my best friend of 10 years would be so soulless to even do something like this. Shane has been nothing but a faithful partner and father. He is present and works hard to take care of their family. When Addison was pregnant and had nowhere to go, he took her in. After all the toxic men Addison dealt with in her life, she was finally blessed with a good man. And she decided to throw it all away. I felt a mixture of sadness, shock, and rage. My instincts punted in, and I immediately took my phone and quickly recorded me scrolling through the messages. It wasn't all of them, of course, but enough for proof. I wasn't going to hide this or act like I didn't see anything. Instead of beating around the bush and acting oblivious, I decided to confront her head on. As soon as Addison came back into the living room and sat on the couch, I told her everything. I told her that she had left her phone unlocked with her and Jesse's text convo out and open for me to see. I told Addison that I had been suspicious of her and Jesse's dynamic and that I found it odd that she continued to stay in contact with him despite all the complaints on his behavior. As I'm grilling into her, Addison sat in silence and in shock. After I finished speaking, the first thing she muttered was, "I'm sorry." Addison struggled to get her words out as I demanded her to explain herself. She confessed that she's been having an on and off affair with Jesse for 6 months. Addison tried to victimize herself by saying that Jesse had seduced her, and even when she tried to end things, he wouldn't leave her alone. I didn't buy her sob story telling her that Jesse wasn't holding a pew-pew to her head and forcing her to have an affair. She had the full ability to cut him off entirely, block him, and even file a restraining order if she had to. Addison knew exactly what she was doing and tried to play victim when she was caught in the act.
Honestly, like, that is one of the most pathetic things I think you can do.
Oh, yeah. To be like, oh, he kept pushing and pushing.
It's like, I didn't want to cheat on my husband, but this guy was talking to me.
You didn't want to cheat on your husband in the same way that Opie didn't want to snoop on your phone.
You did.
You both did. And you both did it. I told her that she wasn't the victim and that the real victim is her fiancé. It was at this moment when Addison's face grew white. And I kid you not, this woman got on her knees and begged for me not to tell Shane. She went on about how Shane treated her like a queen, taking care of her and their child. She didn't want to lose what she had wanted for so long over one mistake. It wasn't one mistake. It was months of mistakes.
Yeah, over one mistake.
One
that
mistake.
Lasted for months.
Months.
And however many text messages and photographs we sent between each other.
Yeah, that's not one mistake. I told her she should have thought about that before she decided to cheat with Jesse.
She's like, if I had never gotten this job, I got the wrong job and I met Jesse there.
Yeah.
Please let me find it.
It was a mistake to go into this career.
Now I know I should have just been unemployed.
Yeah, it's not my fault. Like I said, I was not going to hide this. It goes against my moral code to hide something like this from someone, especially Shane. I don't care who you are. If you're doing wrong, I'm going to make sure you face the consequences. So I gave Addison an ultimatum. She was going to confess everything to Shane the next morning when he got home, or I would. She obliged and promised me she would tell him. Due to the severity of the situation, I decided to pack my things and go home for the night. The next morning, I woke up to 10 missed calls from Addison. She texted me saying she had told Shane everything and he had left the house in a complete rage. I called her back and she basically repeated the same. She tried calling him several times and said she was scared of what he would do when he got back. I didn't say much other than it would be best for her not to contact him. At the end of the day, she made this bed and now she has to lay in it. After we hung up, I decided to call Shane because a part of me did not believe her. Shane answered immediately. I told him I was aware of what happened and that if he needed anything, I was here for him. Shane sounded confused and asked, "What are you talking about?"
How dumb is this friend to be like, okay, I got caught. She said, tell your husband tomorrow, I will. So
Maybe I'll just make him seem really dangerous and she won't ask him.
Yeah, I'll just lie again about it. And I'll allude that he's become an enraged Tarzan man.
I told him that I knew Addison confessed everything and that he had to leave the house to calm down. Shane responded, "What are you talking about? Addison confessed to what? I just left to go get us breakfast." I paused. Just as I suspected, Addison never told him anything. Better yet, she lied to me and said that she did. I'm a woman of my word, and I did just as I told her I would do. I told him everything. I told him about the affair, about her confession. I also told him about her lying to me about confessing to him. I sent him the scrolling video of the messages between her and Jesse. Ooh, you are slamming this man.
I hope you freaking told Shane, hey, sit down and make sure you're not driving.
This man hasn't even eaten breakfast yet.
Yeah.
Let him have a morning coffee.
Holy crap.
I'd be like, hey, I have a lot of stuff to tell you. Are you in a space where you can, handle all this? Shane didn't say a word while I was speaking. Once I was done, there was a long pause. Shane struggled to speak, but he eventually stuttered, "Okay, go," and he abruptly hung up. I didn't hear from Addison or Shane for about a week. I mean, honestly, your friendship with both of them is probably kind of over.
Yeah, Shane's going to be like, well, don't want to talk to the person who gave me the worst news I've ever received in my life. And I also don't want to see the person who's responsible for committing that news against me.
I decided to call Shane to check on him. He answered and graciously thanked me for revealing to him what I saw. He told me that he confronted Addison after he returned home that morning and she confessed everything. However, it was revealed that Addison had been sleeping around with Jesse for their entire relationship and not 6 months like she initially said.
Well, it looks like someone's an overachiever when it comes to being a homewrecker.
Yeah, it sounds like all of those things about how awful Jesse were lies.
I immediately clocked that right off the bat. We're just like, oh, this guy is so
He's
annoying.
the worst.
And it's like, if he was that annoying, he wouldn't be calling you. He wouldn't be texting you because you would have blocked him.
You would have blocked him already.
Oof. Yeah. She started wrecking the home before the home was even built.
Yeah, the home was just,
The foundation was built on loose sand and gravel.
You had a couple scaffolds up. That's it.
Yeah, now you get ready to live in tent town.
Shane said he left Addison at his house with their daughter and booked an extended stay at a nearby hotel. Because Addison was sleeping around longer than anticipated, Shane wanted a paternity test. 3 weeks passed and I hear nothing of Addison, just occasional updates from Shane. He would drop in and out of their house to check on their daughter, but that was it. Fast forward to a few days before Christmas, Shane called me. He was crying hysterically, barely able to get a single word out. I don't think the child is his. I tried to calm him down, and he eventually did. He told me he did a paternity test. Turns out he was not the father to their child. Devastating. Raising this child a year and a half. Devastating. Wow.
What's the line from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Not your daddy. No, I'm not your father, but no.
I ain't your father, but I am your daddy.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
But that's like such a tricky time period because does he have, well, hopefully if he was written on the birth certificate, he'd have some sort of parental rights. I feel like that's, he might not decide he wants to be the parent to this child, but still a year and a half is a long time to have, connection to a child to then just sever it. So I don't know what he would decide to do.
Yeah, that's rocking a hard place right there.
My heart shattered. I didn't know what to say. I sat in silence as I listened to Shane cry his eyes out. I felt so much rage and disgust in my body, so much that I wanted to hang up on Shane, call Addison, and curse her out. But I didn't. Instead, I stayed on the phone with Shane and comforted him as he vented on about his heartbreak. Meanwhile, still not a word from Addison. Christmas and New Year's passed by. It is now January 2025. I haven't heard from Shane in a few weeks, but I finally spoke to Addison. She updated me on everything. Shane punted her out of his house, and she is now staying at a low-end motel with her daughter. Jesse was revealed to be the father of her child, but upon finding out the news, he cut her off entirely.
Shocked.
Oh, no. The
guy who you were cheating with isn't as amazing as Shane?
Jesse ain't husband material?
She has no relationship with her parents and doesn't know any friends that would be willing to take her in. She vented about how much she missed Shane and the life he granted her.
Oh, boo-hoo, that sucks.
Oh, too little, too late. Too little, too late.
You're just a goblin.
Yeah.
You're just a covetous little goblin.
She said her life is miserable now and she would do anything to have Shane back. I told her that despite everything, I still love and care for her. But at the end of the day, this was nobody's fault but hers. And that now she had to live with her consequences.
She said, I'd do anything.
Anything.
Except not doing Jesse.
Yeah. Like, oh, I wish that my life hadn't turned out this way.
If only there was something that could have been done.
If only there was a way to stop myself from cheating with Jesse, but it was inevitable.
Unfortunately, I was handed
The
an
man's
unfair
too
deck
hot.
with unfair cards, and I only had one hand to play, and it was cheat on my husband the
It was
entire
cheat.
time we've been together.
Yeah, it was
with
cheat.
another man.
And then make him take care of a child that wasn't his without his knowledge.
Which again, not my fault.
Not my fault.
Not my fault.
Couldn't possibly be.
Not my fault, and I leave it at that.
The last thing I remember Addison telling me was how she was going to handle issues regarding Jesse and child support. Without any further details, we said our goodbyes, and that was that. I haven't heard from her since. I've avoided contact with her since our last conversation. Although I do care for her, I can't bring myself to be friends with someone who would do something so low. Am I the a-hole for revealing everything? A part of me feels bad for her, but at the same time, it would have gone against everything I stand for to keep something like that from Shane. Some might say I was an evil person to reveal the affair, but it would have been even more evil for me to allow her to continue cheating on her faithful partner. Oh, that's the end. But you should never cheat on us, because we have so many full episodes of stories just like this that you can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime. You never have to listen to any other podcast.
And then you won't cheat on us.
Don't cheat on us. But that's the end of the story. OP, you are not the a-hole for... I mean, you gave her the option to tell him herself, and she chose to lie to you and him, so not the a-hole. But that is the end of that story.
Was the end? That was a weird place for it to end.
Well, the end was... Yeah, part of me feels
Yeah.
bad for her, but at the same time, it would have gone against everything I stand for to
Right.
keep something
So,
like
I
that
mean,
from Shane.
It is a tough spot because it's like you become indirectly like a catalyst for like now the kids living in a motel with their mom, who's like, it sounds like inept. Or that the mom is like, oh, boo-hoo, I wish I could still have my successful, wealthy husband because
Who
of the
loves
life
me
he
and
gave me.
cares for me and my
Garbage.
daughter. Yeah.
Like
Garbage
you are
trash.
the messenger,
But the thing is,
not the perpetrator.
it would have happened sooner or later.
Yeah,
it would have
exactly.
happened.
And
I
it
mean,
sucks, but it's better to happen now rather than later, especially
also,
for, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the fact that she left her text conversation open and unlocked in front of you, like, it was only a matter of time before she did that in front of.
The audacity that she had of
Yeah.
doing that, and then also calling you and trying to be like, yeah, I talked to him and he like left and I'm scared, and then just hoping that like you'll never speak about
You'll
it
never
ever again.
ask or never
And they
follow
stay
up on
together
that.
and she just goes, oh yeah, he
Yeah,
forgave
he got
me.
over it. Don't ask him about it, but he got over it. Don't
Maya
worry.
Jambalaya says living in a motel is better than living in a lie.
It's true.
But I meant that more for the kid. I don't care at all
Yeah,
that the wife is at the hotel.
I mean, it seems like Shane is going like hands off in terms of parenting, which makes sense, but it is also.
Yeah, it's not your kid.
But that is the end of that story and the end of this episode.
So if you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you and
And
see you tomorrow.